lovely people, and welcome back to this week's new video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Noah. I am a bookish and lifestyle vlogger born and raised and still based in New York City. As you can tell from the title of this video, this is going to be my May TBR, but more importantly, my Asian Readathon TBR hosted by Read with Cindy. I did participate in the Readathon last year, but it didn't quite go very well because I was very against audiobooks, definitely against ebooks, and so I was borrowing everything from the library, and by the time everything came from the library, May was over, and the books that had come I did not enjoy and sadly had to DNF. So I'm very excited, I'm very well prepared. I have 12 books to talk to you guys about today, 11 of which are on my TBR. So let's just get straight into it. If you are interested in partaking, I think by the time you're seeing this, it is happening tomorrow. I will leave Cindy's information down below as well as her announcement video. So the reason why the Asian Readathon is happening in May is because it's Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. I'm wearing my Kyoto t-shirt. My parents are from there, so represent. I am Japanese American, first generation American. I have some books here. Half of them I own, or I have physically, and half of them I will be listening to via audiobook because I have discovered that I actually enjoy them. And especially in quarantine, since I can't really get new books from the library anymore, the best way was to borrow them through Libby. I feel like I need to have better posture. The first prompt is to read any book by an Asian author. That first book that I have is actually a reread for me, and it's Amy Tan's Joy Luck Club. This book, wow, it's old. Oof. I love book smells, but this one's like dusty and oof. Okay, enough about the smell. So this book is following 4 mothers, 4 daughters, and 4 families. It begins in 1949 with 4 Chinese women who have immigrated from China to San Francisco, and they have obviously created new lives for themselves, and they create a little group to play mahjong every week and to discuss what they left behind in China, and that group becomes the Joy Luck Club. Don't mind my crusty nails. The 4 women's daughters don't want to take the advice of their mothers. I think they're born in America, so they're like, oh, your advice doesn't really apply to me, until they have their own crises within their lives that reveal that their mothers actually have some wisdom. This book I've read before. Definitely too young to understand. I used to read a lot of books when I was younger just because my sister did, because she also used to be an avid reader. I mean, she still is. Oh wow, that's like a lot of dust. I think my mom even read it as well, and we all watched the movie together. It's a very heavy topic, I remember it being. I'm definitely interested in reading this as an adult to fully understand and analyze what this book is about. The second book is going to be an audiobook, so that is Chupeco's The Girl from the Well. I actually had this on in a video for my October TBR that I did with my boyfriend, where he picked out the books that I would read. He didn't pick this book, so it kind of just fell off my radar a little bit, but I thought, no, this is perfect. Oh yeah, this author, Amy Tan, is Chinese American. Chupeco is, I have my notes, Chupeco is Chinese Filipino, and in this book there is a ghost, like a spirit, who hunts down murderers, much like the one who killed her 300 years ago and threw her down a well. And in this neighborhood, a new guy appears. He moves in, he has all these tattoos, and something comes with him. I think it's like a spirit. It said, soon both will be drawn into the world of eerie doll rituals and dark Shinto exorcisms that will take them from American suburbia to the remote valleys and shrines of Aomori, Japan. This is a YA horror novel pitched as Dexter meets The Grudge. I don't really like, I actually hate horror movies. I can't watch them at all. I quite literally have nightmares, and I get very more afraid of the dark. So I don't watch horror movies at all, but somehow I can enjoy thriller books. Hopefully I can get around to this. And then the third book, which I actually already have borrowed, it became available for me to borrow, so I'm ready to hop onto that right away, by Roselle Lim, who is also Chinese Filipino, and it's Natalie Tan's book of luck and fortune. Natalie returns home after the death of her mother. She was estranged with her mother for about 7 years after she announced to her mom that she wanted to pursue her dream to become a chef. Her mother didn't approve of this, and this is why they were estranged. So she's back home, and she is surprised to find that her grandmother's restaurant has been left to her, because the neighborhood seer reads the restaurant's fortune in the tea leaves. Natalie must cook 3 recipes from her grandmother's cookbook to aid her struggling neighbors before the restaurant will succeed. Natalie doesn't care to help the locals since they left her high and dry when she was taking care of her agoraphobic mom. But with the support of a new friend and a budding romance, Natalie realizes that maybe her neighbors have been there for her all along. So I think that would be nice to break up, you know, from the horror and the heavy, you know, history of Joy Luck Club and have a little bit of a light romance mixed into this. So those are the 3 books that I have for the first prompt. The second prompt is read a book featuring an Asian character or is written by an Asian author who you can relate to. For that first book, I have this one, which is the 3rd book in the Summer I Turned Pretty series, and this is We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. Jenny Han is Korean American. Obviously, I can relate to her as a Asian woman, like Asian American woman, but I also can relate to Belly. Belly is not Asian from what I can tell. I think she's white, but personality wise I really relate to her a lot. If you have seen my vlogs and seen me reading the first 2 books in the trilogy, you know personality wise I connect to her a lot, kind of in the wishy-washy sense. Not that I want to say that about myself, but also in the sense that she had a huge, or has a huge, crush on her childhood friend. I no longer do, but that took up a whole part of my life. I don't know how much I can talk about it because it's the last book in the trilogy, but the series basically is about Belly and her family. Her family is close friends with another family, has 2 boys, and they always spend the summer together at their summer home, and she's been in love with Conrad forever, and things are starting to change that summer. So this is the 3rd book in the series. I'm finally getting around to it. This is also light and YA. The second book that I have picked for this is Buddha in the Attic by Julie Otsuka. I don't even know how much I should be moving over. It's fine. Julie Otsuka is, or Judy, I guess if you want to say in Japanese, she's Japanese American, so that is where I'm taking it from. This book seems kind of heavy as well, and it follows the lives of picture brides, which are, I think, a matchmaker takes a photo of a bride and shows the husband, and he picks you, or vice versa or something like that, and they come on a ship to America. These women, the brides, the picture brides, arrive in America in San Francisco and discover their new lives as immigrants and their new roles as wives and what they must do to survive. I might have read a couple chapters before. I don't think I DNF'd it, but it sounds familiar to me because the concept of picture brides I remember, but I'm not sure. The second book that I have is When We Were Orphans by Kazuo Ishiguro, and he is Japanese. He was born in Japan and raised in Britain, so he speaks English. Christopher Banks was born in Shanghai, but he was orphaned at 9 years old when both of his parents mysteriously go missing. He was sent to England to be raised there and actually grew up to become a renowned detective. 20 years later, Christopher returns to Shanghai to try to figure out what happened to his parents. I've read Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, but I always kind of avoided his books because I thought that he was writing in Japanese and his books were translated like Murakami Haruki, like Haruki Murakami, which is why I also don't really read his books. And then I was researching him to make sure, you know, I got his ethnicity right, and he was born in Japan but raised in England, so he writes his books in English. So I'm interested in reading more books. When I was talking to my mom about doing this readathon, her and my sister both told me that I should read another book by him that was available, and now I cannot remember the name. I'll have it on the screen. Obviously, him and I are both Japanese, and that is where the similarity comes in. The next prompt is read a book featuring an Asian character or written by an Asian author who is different from you. And I have a library book that I actually really need to get to before quarantine's over so I can return it, and it's Maurene Gu's I Believe in a Thing Called Love. She is Korean American. So I think this is also YA. Desi has a plan for everything. She believes in being well prepared, and that is exactly how she plans on getting into college, but the one thing that she doesn't really know about or has been prepared for is about relationships. She's never had a boyfriend before, and she is determined to get better at it and get a boyfriend before college, I think. Her father really enjoys watching K-dramas, Korean dramas, and she takes to watching those and taking advice from that. It says, armed with her K-drama steps to true love, Desi goes after the moody, elusive artist Luca, and the boat rescues, love triangles, and staged car crashes ensue. But when the fun and games turn to true feels, Desi finds out that real love is way more than just drama. I was watching someone's TBR for this, and she said that she couldn't get into this. She said if you're more into K-dramas, you probably will, which I've never seen one. People said that about Wicked Fox, and I did not enjoy Wicked Fox. But this is my first book by Maurene Gu. I have been wanting to read this book. I've heard really good things about it on BookTube as well, so I'm excited to get to this. The second book that I have for this prompt is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon, and the author is Indian American. So, you know, different from me. Dimple is ready to get out of her house for college. She's tired of of her mom pestering her about finding the perfect husband, and she's just ready to get to her summer program. Rishi, on the other hand, is a hopeless romantic, and when his parents tell him that his future wife is going to be at the same summer program as him, he is going there, excited, ready to woo her. He's like totally on board, and I wrote, Rishi believes in the power of tradition and wants to be arranged. Although their parents didn't intend for this arrangement to happen so quickly, they were like, you know what, why not? If they're gonna go to the same summer program, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. This sounds really cute, and I heard about this book from BookTube. It just sounds really fun. The next book that I have for this prompt is Exit West by Mohsin Hamid, and he is British Pakistani. Nadia and Saeed meet and fall into a love affair while their country is on the brink of a civil war, and they hear rumors about these doors that can open and take you far away, but there's a certain price to that. When everything starts to get really dangerous, they figure that this is their only way to stay safe, and Nadia and Saeed decided they no longer have a choice and found a door to go through. I also have heard about this book on BookTube, but I feel like more on TBR videos and not actually about people reading them. The fourth prompt is read a book recommended by an Asian. So I actually have two books for this prompt. One book I'm nervous about. My boss lent it to me, or she like kind of forced it onto me because she was like, you need to read this. They all know that I really enjoy reading, but I did go to Japanese school for 10 years. I can read and write and speak in Japanese, so my level in reading and writing is like very low. My speaking is pretty good, but reading and writing is low, so it's not something that I read a lot because I know it'll take me a lot longer. Like my mom will text me in Japanese so I can keep up with it that way, but reading Japanese books isn't something that I do so much anymore. So it's this one. I don't really know the English title. I'll like have it somewhere, I guess. Saga no Gawai Ba-chan by Shimada Yoshiji, and I think it's like non-fiction. It's sort of biographical about the author Yoshiji Shimada, who was sent to his grandma's home from Hiroshima, where he lives, during World War II, and about his like funny, weird grandma. She said it's really funny. I believe the author is a Japanese comedian, and it looks like not scary at all, right? But a lot of this is going to be me with my Japanese English translation app writing stuff down, and this will be like my chance, I guess, to practice and learn new characters, if anything, or at least keep those gears, oil those gears in my brain, if that makes any sense. So I think I need to start this at the beginning of the month so that I have a lot of time to read it. Although I don't think this can be a book that I can just tuck myself into bed and read. I will like actually have to be at my desk and writing stuff down. I had this in my possession for I think over a year. I forgot when she gave it to me. I like didn't even plan on reading it ever, but I figured this is the best time, like one, because of the readathon, but two, also because I'm in quarantine, you know, why not? And the second book that I have for this is Pachinko by Minjin Lee. My friend Alyssa, she recommended it to me. She is Japanese American, also she's half. In the early 1900s, Sunja falls for a wealthy stranger near her home in Korea, and they hook up, you know, they have a thing, they have a little romance, and she realizes that she's pregnant, and also that this stranger is a prick because he married. She refuses to be bought, which I don't know what that means, but that's what the synopsis said, and she decides to accept an offer of marriage from a minister passing through on his way to Japan. But her decision to abandon her home and to reject her son's powerful father sets off a dramatic saga that will echo down through the generations. And Minjin Lee is Korean American. It has been on my TBR for a while, and I feel like this is the perfect push for me to get to it because I have so many books on my TBR. And then the last book, the 12th book I have to talk to you guys about today, is actually the optional group book, and it's To Read Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I've already read it. I read it last year or 2 years ago, I think, so I could reread it because there will be a group discussion in the first half of the month, I think, and then the latter half there will be a group watch party of the show on Hulu, which I was really excited about because I love Reese Witherspoon and I like Kerry Washington. I am interested in watching the show I added it to my queue like right away, right when it came out, and I just haven't gotten to it. There is a possibility that I'll read this again, but obviously there are so many books on my TBR that I'm not really sure. So good thing I already read this. But what this book is about, if you don't know, is Elena Richardson lives in like this perfect suburbia in Shaker Heights. It has a placid progressive suburb of Cleveland. Then comes Mia Warren. She's a single mother and artist with her daughter. She takes on like odd jobs, and Elena Richardson rents out one of her home's apartments to Mia and her daughter, and their families or their kids become really close. Family friends of the Richardsons decide to adopt a Asian baby. That sort of divides the community, and Mia and Elena are put on different ends. Suspicious of Mia and her motives, Elena is determined to uncover the secrets in Mia's past, but her obsession will come at unexpected and devastating costs. And that is all 12 books I have to talk to you guys about today. I'm really excited about this readathon. I hope that it goes well for me. I've sort of been in a physical reading slump. Like, I thought the reading rush will sort of push me out of that, but it hasn't. My current book right now is Meg Gardner's Dark Corners of the Night, which is the 3rd book in the Her On sub-series. It's been taking me like almost a week to read it, which is not good because I have time in my day. Like, I'm at home all the time, so I have time to do it, but I just find myself picking up audiobooks a lot faster because I could do things around the house and like listen to it while I'm working. In my normal day-to-day, I would read on my commute because that would be like 40 minutes of me reading, which is really good. So I'd never really read at home. So I'm trying to tuck myself into bed a little bit earlier to rest my eyes from all the screens that I've been looking at and read a book to naturally fall asleep. Hopefully, you know, in this whole month of a readathon, I can get to a lot of books. April has been a really good month for me. So far, I've read 24 books, and that is only because of audiobooks. Hopefully, since I have balanced it out for this readathon with having physical books as well as audiobooks between all of the prompts, that will allow for me to get to all of the prompts and do a good job. I was considering doing a month-long vlog, but I did a 7 in 7 video that I'll link where I read 7 books in 7 days, and I was only talking about 7 books and it was really long. So I will be dividing it up between 2 weekly vlogs every other week. I hope you guys enjoy. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did join me. Let me know if you are excited about this readathon, what you're going to be reading in this readathon, or even just what you're going to be reading in May. I hope you are staying safe and healthy and indoors, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.